Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video. Welcome back to Craft, the learning bushcraft channel with me, Colo, as I spend time practicing and improving my bushcraft skills through camping, hiking and spending time outdoors. In this video I thought I'd run you through the camping gear that I currently own, the stuff I have that I really like and works really well, and also some of the stuff that I have that isn't as good and that I will be looking to replace in the future. If you're new here, if you're brand new to this channel, thank you very much for checking it out. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and sharing this kind of stuff with anyone else you know that might like it. That being said, let's get on with the video. Well, as you can see, I've got a whole plethora of stuff behind me that I'm going to run you through very quickly. It won't take too long. But the first thing that I want to show you, the first thing that, or the thing that is most important to me, I guess, at the moment particularly, is this. So this is almost my Bible at the moment. This is a book called, obviously it's a book, called Out on the Land, and it's by Ray Mears and Lars Field. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, unfortunately. Sorry, Lars. This was bought for me for my birthday or for Christmas, I can't remember which. And it's absolutely invaluable. It's one of the best books I've ever read. There's so much cool and useful information in here. And as anybody that does this stuff, anybody that knows bushcraft knows, is Ray Mears is almost the god that we all worship when it comes to bushcraft. So to have this is absolutely fantastic. The other really cool thing about this that I'm very proud of is that it is in fact signed by the man himself. How cool is that? Signed by the man himself. I love this thing. I think what we'll do is run through the smaller items that I've got here, because some of the bigger items, when I take them out to show you, obviously they're going to take up a lot of room. So let's do the smaller stuff first. We can start with some of the cooler things, if you like. So this is a folding saw. This is a Baco Laplander. It's absolutely brilliant, really good, particularly for beginners, I'm told. Really light, and it cuts absolutely brilliantly. Couldn't be happier with this thing. This actually again was also a gift. A lot of the stuff that I have here is a gift from other people, but yeah, absolutely love this thing. Really great. It's very economical. It's not expensive, and so far it's really tough. The blade is really strong, and I've had absolutely no issues with it. So this is absolutely fantastic. So highly recommended. The next thing that I've got here is my Mora Bushcraft Black. Now I bought this particular knife because it was recommended on Joe Robinette's channel. He told me, or he didn't tell me personally, obviously, he said that this is a really good knife, again for beginners, for people first getting into this stuff, because it's not overly expensive, and I have to say it's absolutely brilliant. It's got a Scandinavian grind, but what I really like about it is this square bit at the top of the blade here. This makes it absolutely perfect for striking a fire steel, which you really want in any kind of bushcraft knife. I have to admit, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing knife out there, and the sheath that it comes with is this horrible plastic, but as I say, so far it's not an issue at all. It locks in really well, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's actually got these really cool little grooves for you to put your thumb on to get the knife out really easily, so absolutely fantastic. As I say, the only real issue I have with it is the plastic sheath, which is not particularly pleasant, but still a great knife. Absolutely love it. It's got a really cool plastic bit on the top here, so if you're splitting with it or you need to drive it into a piece of wood for whatever reason, you can really bash the top of it, and there's no danger of the knife being damaged in any way. So it's absolutely fantastic. Really like this thing. What else have we got? Ooh, here we go. So actually, before I bought the Mora, I actually started off with this, which is a Gerber Bear Grylls bushcraft knife. Now he's got so many different versions. This one is the folding one that locks into place. Again, I really like this one. It's got a nice square bit at the top again, so for striking a fire steel. But the biggest issue I found with this was because it's a locking blade, because it's not one solid piece. If you're battening wood with it, so you're bashing the top of the knife here to split some wood with it, the lock tends to come undone, and the knife tends to bend again like that. So that was my biggest issue with this. But as I say, this is actually still a really good knife. It's nice and light, nice and grippy. The rubberized handle makes it really good control with it, because you're not likely to slip. So really fantastic. Obviously folds down nice and small to go on your belt really easily. So again, really good knife. Just the only thing with it was I couldn't really use it for battening. So this is almost a backup for me. What else have we got? More small stuff. Okay, so this was the first axe that I bought, and as you can see, it's a little bit old and beaten up now. This again is a Mora, who are a Swedish company, absolutely brilliant. The reason that I got this, to be honest, I thought it was bigger. I bought this off the internet, I think it was actually just from Amazon. Nice and cheap, really inexpensive, nice and light. I'm not a massive fan of the way the handle is shaped. It's kind of weird when you're trying to use it, but as I say, as a first sort of entry level little hatchet, you can't go wrong with this. Nice and cheap, well made, solid, holds an edge really well as well, and is really great just to chuck in your bag if you're going on a trip. So yeah, so that's really cool. What else? Oh, where else should we go? Okay, so some other stuff that I've got here in this little pouch, and I actually stole this from a member of my family. Basically it's a cutlery set. So you've got it comes apart, and you've got a fork there. You've got a knife with a can opener and a bottle opener, where it can be used as a bottle opener anyway there. And if I fold that down, as you can see, it's also got a spoon as well. So really simple, really useful, cheeky little bit of kit. I have to say I have no idea where it came from or how much it cost, but I imagine that you can buy this stuff on the internet well cheap. But yeah, really cool, really fun, very easy. And again, it's got this little pouch with a cool little belt loop, so you can pop it on your belt to keep it out of the way. Next, I have this, which is actually a sharpening stone. This again I bought because it was recommended by other bushcraft YouTubers, chiefly Joe Robinette, but also I think My Self Reliance has mentioned it. It's a really popular one. It's absolutely brilliant. This is the Fall Niven DC4. Comes in this little pouch. It's really small, very compact. It's got two different sides to it, which are absolutely brilliant. Really easy to use, and so far I've had absolutely no issues with it. I've had it for a long time, and it still is going strong. What tends to happen, I've been told, is that the gold bit, this particular grind, will come off, and you'll just be left with the initial stone there. But so far that's not happened to me, so it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, couldn't recommend that highly enough. Again, inexpensive, not overly pricey. Really good for the money. Can't go wrong. What else? Okay, so we might as well go with these. So these, again, are just my trekking poles. So these are, what are they? They are high-trek, all-season aluminium trekking poles. They extend really well, nice and easy. Absolutely no issues with them. In 2 bits, so you can make them nice and long. Proved very useful when when me and some friends went camping in Clatteringshaw Loch that I mentioned in the previous video. We had no idea when we decided to go there that it was one enormous bog. So as we were kind of walking around the loch trying to traverse it all, these proved invaluable for poking the ground to find out where we could and couldn't stand. I was laughed at and called an old man for bringing them. No, you need a walking stick, Kylo. Yeah, who's laughing now? Others were begging to use these. So really cool. So this little thing here, again, a lot of my stuff actually comes from Mountain Warehouse, just because in the UK there aren't too many places that you can just sort of shops that you can just walk in and get stuff. And when I was first sort of putting a kit together, or putting a gear list together if you like, Mountain Warehouse seemed the obvious choice. So this, all it is a really tiny little towel. It's really great, absolutely fantastic, no issues with it at all. It unclips there if I need it to take it off, and obviously, as you saw, it folds down really well into this tiny little pouch that you can just carry around either in your bag, or you can clip it to your belt or whatever you want if you need to. Absolutely great, really cool, very small and very useful. One thing that I take whenever I do any kind of trip, again, is a really simple first aid kit. I can't recommend carrying one of these highly enough. you never know what's going to happen when you're out and about, particularly when you are working with knives and axes and stuff like that. So having a first aid kit is absolutely essential. Again, this was from Random Warehouse. It was really cheap, really simple to pick up. It's nothing overly extensive, you know. It's just got some basic stuff in it with some bandages and some tape and some sanitizing wipes and safety pins and that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely recommend taking one of those. So that's really simple. What else is up here? Okay, so as any bushcrafter will tell you, a head torch is an absolutely vital piece of kit, particularly if you're working at night. If you're working with saws or knives and stuff like that, you don't want to take any risk of hurting yourself, so you need light. Putting this on your head means that you've got your hands free, so it's absolutely essential. This one, again, just bought off the internet. It's a Pathfinder, nice and cheap. Got a few different settings, so it builds up like that, and it also has a funny little SOS flashing sequence as well if you were to ever get into trouble. Absolutely brilliant, no issues with it yet really. The only thing that sometimes, because of the way it's made, these things come apart ever so slightly, but you know what, it's not a massive issue, just can be a pain sometimes, but if you're careful it doesn't make any difference at all. Here I have one of my favourite bits of kit, which is a Ramir's fire steel. Again, this was actually a gift. It was bought for me from a member of my family. Absolutely love it. Really brilliant. It's never failed me at all. As long as you store them right and you keep them dry and you know not in a damp environment, they're absolutely brilliant and will last a lifetime. So yeah, very happy with this. I have crudely attached it to a piece of paracord so I can hook it to my belt so I don't lose it. Otherwise, you can be quite stuck if you've got no other options if you lose these. So good idea to put it on some paracord as well. Whoa, what else? Well, with that in mind, I have this. Obviously, I don't take this with me on every trip. This is just my kind of paracord supply. Again, I think I bought this from Amazon. Really cheap. It's not the best paracord in the world, but so far it does the job. Yeah, not much more to say on that really. It's always useful having paracord. There's loads and loads words. Loads and loads of different reasons and uses for it, so it's good to have a backup supply. But what I tend to do is cut off a length or a few lengths and store them in a pouch that I take with me rather than this roll. All right, next up. Okay, next up, really simple, a very small plastic trowel. Very useful for when there are no facilities wherever you are, have to be camping and you have to do your business outside and you dig a hole. So, really good idea. Very cheap again, just off the internet. Couple of quid, nothing more. Okay, what else? Other smaller items. Aha! Here we go. So this is a small sort of tinder box that I have. It's got a few other bits and pieces in it, but this is what I take with me to carry the stuff that helps me light fires. So at the moment I've got some cotton wool, a bit of Vaseline to rub the cotton wool in to help create a wick. I've got a lighter, some matches in case I lose my fire steel. Also got a torch. Really useful thing to have with you. Always have a backup torch just to be safe. What else is in here? I've got a whistle. Wait, it works. Apparently it's a good thing to carry. I've never had to use it yet, but you never know when you might need it, when you might get into trouble, so always good to carry that. I've got a little compass as well. Again, okay, so it turns out that my camera stopped recording just as I was going through my tinderbox, so I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that there's going to be a weird kind of break in the filming, but you know, lessons learned that the camera will stop recording after a certain amount of time. Hey ho. Right, so we'll carry on. So we've been through all of this stuff. Come on, mate. The last thing that I was talking about before the camera cut out was the compass that I carry around. Again, it's been recommended that you carry one in case of emergency if you need to navigate your way from wherever you are, if you get lost or whatever. So I've never had to use it yet, namely because the places that we go, we know where we are, so it's absolutely fine. But as I say, just good practice if nothing else. So I've got a compass. And the last thing in my little tinderbox, if you like, is an emergency space blanket. So these are the ones that, you know, when you see in the films when the emergency services rescue someone and they wrap them in like this weird silver sheet. Yeah, that's what this is. They're really, really good insulators, so they help keep you warm. Again, touch wood. Oh, that's no wood. Touch wood. Never had to use it. I hope never have to, but I've got it just in case. So if I don't know, if one of my friends falls in a river or something, and we've got no other way to warm them up, here we are. We're covered. So that's that. Groovy. So let's do gloves next. So these are my gloves. They are town and country. Apparently, my dad actually bought these for me after he heard that I have gotten into this stuff. To be honest, they are a little bit small, a little bit tight, but these are absolutely brilliant. There's got a nice grippy bit in there. You can see I've used them, been putting my hands in the fire and stuff like that. So they're actually really, really well insulated. Genuine leather, really, really good. It's really hard to get. You know, if I slip with a knife and something, these offer some really good protection, and they will stand up to heat. So when I'm just moving logs or sticks around in the fire and stuff, so far, not a big issue. I have to say, I have no idea how much they cost, as they were a gift. I don't imagine they were overly expensive, but you never know. Before I had those, actually, let's use these. Before I had those, I actually used these. So this was a way of getting some half decent bushcraft gloves. Again, that I saw actually on a YouTube video. I can't remember the name of the guy that did it. Unfortunately, sorry, whoever you are. But he suggested this technique, which is basically just to get some bog standard, really cheap sort of workman cowhide gloves. Get them quite big, because then what you actually do is you get some really simple cotton liners, and then you pop those on your hand and then pop the work glove, if you like, over the top. So because they are cowhide, they're nice and strong and resistant. Again, if you slip with a knife in your hand or anything, it's not going to do you any damage. Nice and insulated because of the liner, so they're nice and warm, and also they're really resistant to heat as well. As you can see, I've used these quite a few times as well, moving logs around in a fire, and they've stood the test of time. So really good. So if you're on a budget, really, really easy and cheap way to get some half decent gloves. Yeah. These kind of actually fit me better than my better gloves, so I kind of have alternated between the two. But I think what I'll probably be doing is getting a better pair of, or a slightly bigger pair of these, in the very near future. So there we are. All right, on to some of the bigger stuff. Okay, this I did show you briefly in the last video that I had. It's a really cool little camping chair. This fits onto the back of it, and the frame is really cool. It just shake it out a bit, and it just pops into place. So it's really light, really easy to carry around. Very, very cool little piece of kit. I've had a couple of these previously that unfortunately I have broken because I bent them. Oh, this one's covered in mud, so I'm now filthy, but never mind. Yeah, really, really cool, really, really simple. Sometimes the only thing with these chairs is if the ground is really soft, you will sink slightly. Which, again, when we were in Scotland, when we went to Clattering-Shaw Loch, when the ground was very, very wet, I took this thinking I was all clever. The other guys had a different type of chair, and I was like, oh yeah, your chairs are really heavy and awkward to carry around. Mine's really simple. Look at it, way. And then as soon as I sat down on it, it sank into the ground and fell over. So, if the ground's really soft, these can be a bit of a pain, but there are ways to get around it, and 9 times out of 10, this is absolutely brilliant. Okay. Right. Now we're into some of these little pouches. So this one, as you might be able to tell from the pouch, travel pillow from Mountain Warehouse. Packs down quite small. Ideally, I'd like it to be smaller. So what I might do is actually buy like an inflatable one, just so that it packs down a lot smaller and weighs less. But you know, half decent little pillow, no big issues, nice and soft, sleepy. Fits into my hammock and stuff really well, so it's not the end of the world. As you can see from the size of it, it packs down into that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, not the best, not the worst. What else we got? This is actually my bivvy bag. So bivvy bags, for anybody that don't know, are basically a way to protect your sleeping bag. If you, for example, don't have a tent, or your tarp blows away or something like that, or you just don't want to carry one, these are a really cool way to keep your sleeping bag nice and dry. So the idea is, it's a mummy bag, so it's a big, basically it's just a waterproof cover, if you like, for your sleeping equipment. So the idea is you would put everything in it, so you put your sleeping pad in it, and your sleeping bag, and then you can put this over your face as well to keep you sort of cocooned, so that you stay nice and dry. I haven't used it yet, I haven't had to. Everywhere I've been so far, I've either been in a tent or had a hammock, but I do plan to sleep out fairly shortly, just under a tarp on the ground. So I'll be taking this with me then to see how good it is. Again, I think that was Mountain Warehouse again. Nice and cheap, nothing overly expensive. So my guess is it's not the best in the world. I've heard that actually, if you can get hold of old military ones, they're absolutely fantastic, as you would hope and expect. So if this does turn out to be rubbish, maybe I'll invest in go to an army surplus store and get one from there or something like that. I don't know. Right, in line with sleeping, again from Mountain Warehouse. This is just a sleeping bag liner, just to go inside your sleeping bag for another little layer of insulation. Simple as that, really. Just goes in your sleeping bag, you get inside it, another little layer to keep you ever so slightly warmer. Moves around a fair bit inside the bag, but it's not a big deal. I've used it every time I've gone. I don't know how much of a difference it has made, because I haven't actually tried sleeping in a sleeping bag recently without it, but you know, cost me nothing. Again, actually stolen from a family member, but yeah, half decent. In here, this is really simple. This again, I keep saying again, this again, but again, this is from Mountain Warehouse, and this is just my waterproof jacket. So it folds up nice and small into there, as you can see. It's red, so it's nice and brightly coloured, so people can see me. And it's also got reflective bits on it as well. Nice and cheap, works really well, keeps me nice and dry. What else? Alright, so in here, I won't bother emptying it because, well, there's no point really, but I'll just show you. I've got a whole bunch of paracord and some pegs for my tarp and stuff. These are actually for my hammock that I'll show you in a minute. They fold out and they slide into part of it to help keep the mosquito net basically off my face. So I keep them in here with everything else, just for ease. Alright, what's next? This weird spacey looking thing is a reflectives pad. Basically what I have been told and what I've seen from watching other bushcraft YouTubers is that these actually can provide a really good bit of insulation when you're lying on the ground. So you put this on the ground and put your sleeping stuff on top of it. Helps insulate you from the ground, and I think helps reflect your own body heat, maybe is the way it works. I'm not entirely certain. But yeah, so I have one of these now. I tend to do that whenever I find a subject that I'm interested. I tend to go out and buy all of the things that I might possibly need. Again, I have had this with me when I've done hammock camping, so I don't really know how much difference it made, but the next time I go out just under the tarp, as I mentioned with the bivvy, I'll be taking this with me to see how it goes, whether it works or not. If it makes any difference, we shall find out. Alright, what's next? What I am going to do is just change the camera angle just that it doesn't stop recording and I have to repeat myself again. So 2 seconds. Oh, getting old, man. Alright, we're back. So next, let's do this next. So this is my sleeping pad. Folds down pretty small. It's an inflatable one. That hooks under there. Out she comes. This I didn't think I had a brand name. Maybe I do. Lomo. Never really heard of them, but there we go. So this, yeah, it's just an inflatable sleeping pad. I don't know if you can see, but it's got these funny little lines on it. So actually when you inflate it, you almost get like a hexagonal sort of bumper there. So it's there's loads of different little sort of hexagonal bumps all across it, which actually makes it really, really comfortable. It's really easy, quick and easy to blow up. It's got a different little filter system, so you can just undo the whole thing to let the air out. If you pop that bit in and then blow air into that, it traps it inside, so you don't have to keep going, oh my god, it's deflating as I'm inflating it. So it works really, really well. Again, this was actually bought by a member of my family, and I have commandeered it for my own uses, so thank you. I will give it back at some point, I promise, when I buy a better one. I do like this, but it doesn't have any kind of sort of thermal insulation or anything like that. So I have seen one that I want to get, which again, shock, Joe Robinette uses. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, what's it called? Thermo X sleeping pad? X Thermo sleeping pad? Something like that. I'll research back into that and make sure I let you know if and when I buy one. But so far this, as I say, is a beginner's piece of kit. Really, really great. This I have already shown you guys, which is my 3x3 DD tarp, 3 meters by 3 meters in Coyote Brown. It's got loads of different loops on it to help you set it up in various different configurations. I'm not going to get it out because it's 3 meters by 3 meters square, so it's pretty big. What I will just do though, I'll tell you what, I will just, if I can get them out, I'll just show you some of the loops. So you see here, I don't know if you watched my last video, but I started using these. They make life so much easier when setting a tarp up, because you can just hook plastic knots through them with sticks, and you can attach them to your main tarp liner if you like. So it makes life so much easier. It also means that you can set them up in various different configurations, not just on a piece of rope between two trees. You can actually sort of make tents out of them. You can do A-frames with them. You can do all kinds of stuff, which I am planning to do actually in a separate video. Is play around with some various different tarp setups. And show you guys how to do them. So if you didn't want to carry a tent for any reason, which I don't particularly like doing, I don't mind a tent, but it's a lot of extra weight to carry when I don't think you particularly need to. So I would take this instead and just make a tent out of it, which, as I said, I'll show you guys how to do at some point. So that's that. Absolutely love it. No issues at all. DD are a fantastic company. I did have to buy it off the internet. I haven't found a shop particularly. I don't even know if there is a particular shop somewhere. But ordered it online. Came really quickly. Brilliant. All right. Next, here's this big bad boy. Okay. So this, as you can see, says DD under blanket on it. This actually has two different things on it at the moment. I've compressed two different bits into this. This is my DD frontline hammock, and it is also the under blanket that goes along with it. So I'll just show you this really quickly. So here we go. Whoop. So this is my hammock. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really easy to set up. Strings are really, really tough. Hold knots really, really well. It's got a fantastic mosquito net, so you're safe from any sort of creepy crawlies that might want to get into bed with you. This was the bit I mentioned earlier with the little poles. I'll just show you this really quickly. So basically what you do, if I can get the right side of it, is there's two of these and they slide in like that. So when your hammock is up between two trees, this bit of elastic holds that up to the tree, so that there's some space for your face. G'day. Really love it. Used this hammock a couple of times now. Really, really enjoyed it. Really, really comfy. It was nice and warm in there as well, despite being outside and open to the air, if you like. So if you like hammock camping and you're looking to invest in one, cannot recommend the DD Frontline highly enough. I think DD do various different versions of their hammocks. I think this is kind of almost a sort of an entry-level one, if you like, but so far it is all I need and works brilliantly. So let's shove that up there. So the other part to this, which is in this massive Mahusive bag, is the under blanket. Now this goes underneath your hammock. So when your hammock is strung up in the tree, this goes underneath, so it kind of goes like that, and then the hammock goes along the top of it. The reason that this is so useful is this insulates the bottom of the hammock, where obviously a lot of cold drafts and stuff come from, where you might lose a lot of heat going down. So this kind of helps insulate your hammock. So it makes a massive difference. They're absolutely brilliant, really comfy, absolutely brilliant bit of kit. Absolutely love it. Perfect. Again, actually not both of this stuff, the under blanket and the DD hammock, not drastically expensive. I wouldn't go so far as to say they were cheap. You know, there are certainly, I would imagine there's certainly cheaper versions of them out there, but I think you get what you pay for with these. I think they were about, I want to say the under blanket was probably between £50 and £100, something like that, and I think the hammock was a little bit more, if my memory serves. I bought them quite a while ago, so I can't honestly remember. So that kind of price range, but totally worth it. Really cool. Right, oh, we're getting there now. Not far off. So this, and I'll tell you what, this is a really cool piece of kit. This at the moment is my cooking system. So what this is a BioLite twig stove, which basically means if you are in an area where you're not in theory allowed to have a big fire or an open fire. Oh man, there's stuff everywhere. Scotland, bits of Scotland everywhere. Ugh, Irish and Dave, you know what I'm talking about. See, still finding bits of the forest everywhere. So this is actually a twig stove. Scotland everywhere. This is actually a twig stove. So if you can't have a big fire, because you can't in most of England actually, in fact, you can't just have an open fire. And what they'd like you to do is just have an item like this, like a twig stove, so that you can cook off the ground and it doesn't do the grass any damage. So that's what this is. This one, however, is a little bit different. Most of them, it's kind of just a metal box that you add twigs to, and it cooks. This one has a whole bunch of stuff on it that makes it really cool. So I'll just show you it very quickly. So this is the main cooking pot, as you might have guessed, which sits on top of the stove, and it's got this little lid. Really simple, easy to use. This is the twig stove. Now what this is actually a battery-powered fan. That means the twig stove gets up a temperature to let you cook on it a lot faster. It's absolutely amazing. What you would do is put your twigs in this bit of the stove at the bottom, light them, and then obviously you would use them to cook on. So this fits in here like that, and then when you open that bit of the tripod, it actually locks this in place. Which is absolutely brilliant. So what this does is, as I say, it is a fan, and as the fan works, it fans the flames in the twig stove to get them hotter faster, so you can boil water and you can cook food a lot quicker. But at the same time, what this does is the heat from the twig stove actually recharges the battery in the battery pack. And it's got this little flap here with a USB port. So you could, if you wanted to, and I've done this loads of times, if your phone runs out or your batteries run out for whatever, you can actually plug a USB stick or USB wire, sorry, into the twig stove, and it will charge your electronics while you cook. How cool is that? I think it's absolutely awesome. It means that when you are in a secluded area and you might be playing music louder than you should be, not that I've ever done that, and your speaker runs out, you can actually recharge it and carry on misbehaving the next day. What is also really cool about this is that it actually comes with, let's throw that around, comes with this as well. So this is, as you can see, is a grill, which fits onto the top of your twig stove. It's got these extending legs, which is absolutely fantastic. Just fits onto the top there, like so. It's absolutely brilliant. Cooks things really quickly. I've used this to cook steak. I've used it to cook sausages and stuff already. What is really cool about it is this little thing flips up, so you can keep feeding the fire without ever having to stop cooking your food, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So, brilliant bit of kit. The only thing with it, of course, is you can see it's quite bulky, so very often I won't take the grill with me, because that seems a bit excessive. So I will just take the actual grill part instead, rather than this whole piece, just because it is pretty heavy. Lovely job. Now, I think I've only got what, 2 bits left now? Yeah, 2 bits left. First of which is this. Now this, if you watch my last video, this is what my last video was all about. This is my Christmas present, which is a Ray Mears Bushcraft forest axe, designed by Ray Mears with a company called Goresbrook, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not, so I apologise if I've just butchered your name. But this is an absolutely amazing piece of kit. I absolutely love it. Couldn't be happier with it. I've only tried it out the once, so I'm really looking forward to getting out into the proper countryside, if you like, and giving it a proper go. But yeah, really happy with this. It is a little bit on the pricey side. I happen to know, despite the fact it was a present, I do know how much it costs. I think they're roughly at the moment around £140. But I tell you what, if you take care of them, if you maintain it properly, and you look after it, it will last you a lifetime. So absolutely brilliant. I love this thing. The last thing that I have to show you is this, which was another present. My family is so nice, honestly, they buy me so much of this stuff. Couldn't do it without them. This is an amazing, really cool axe loop. So this is a dangler that attaches to your belt, and obviously you pop your axe through there, like so it can hang from your belt. Axe stays out the way, doesn't interfere with you when you're walking. Absolutely amazing. I love this thing. It's so well made. I love the little cartouche on it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a really cool little deer or stag. Stag? We'll go with stag. Stag on it. It's really well made. It's made in England. I can't remember the name of the company. I might have it. Give me a sec. Skogsvana? Maybe, no idea how to pronounce that. Canvas and leather goods, handcrafted in England. Absolutely love it. It's absolutely brilliant. In here I actually also have got a really cool leather bit as well that wraps around your axe, so that like that. So you wrap it around there to try and keep the axe head from being damaged when you're using it. So I'm going to put that on and lace it up at some point. I hope it's big enough, I'm not really sure. I don't really know how big they should be, so we'll put it on and see if it works. But as I say, extremely grateful to everyone that has bought me anything like this, so yeah, love you guys, thank you. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I think that's it. In terms of the camping gear that I actually have. As I've said, a lot of this stuff just comes from purchases that I made off the internet. Some of it comes from Mountain Warehouse. All of it for the most part. Really great use of the English language, isn't it? A lot of it is entry level stuff that is cheap to buy, but does the job. You know. And for me, at this particular moment in time, given my current skill set, this stuff is absolutely fine. I am looking to purchase a few other little bits and pieces, like I definitely want to buy an Adventure Sworn custom-made Explorer Bushcraft knife. They are things of absolute beauty that have a price tag to match. So I don't know when I'll be investing in one of those, but I certainly would like to. I'd like to get a bigger folding saw as well. I've been told Silky makes some really fantastic stuff, although in terms of a simple folding saw like the one that you've seen that I've got, I don't know if I'll bother buying a different one, because the Baco Laplander works really well. I'm more talking about a bigger kind of a hacksaw to carry around, which will make cutting down bigger trees a little bit easier if and when I need to. So I might look to invest in one of those, but for the time being, very happy with all of the stuff that I have. What I really need, you may be wondering, or you may be thinking, Colo, you've gone through all of this camping gear, but you're missing one vital piece, which is a sleeping bag. Well, you are correct in that at the moment, technically, I don't own a sleeping bag. Luckily, again, I can rely on my family and the stuff that they have. that I can borrow and commandeer from time to time to use. That will be another purchase that I need to make in the very near future, is to invest in a good sleeping bag, particularly for cold weather. The ones that are available to me are more warm weather kind of sleeping bags, so I do need to get a proper winter sleeping bag. I don't have any particular sort of specifications or know which one I want. I'm just going to do some looking around and maybe go to some of the outdoor stores that are close to me and see if there's anything there that takes my fancy. And the only other thing that I need to get, or really want to get at the moment, is a proper backpack. You saw the one, or you may have seen the one that I had. If you watched my other video the other day, you may have seen the huge Mountain Warehouse one I had. Hang on. This big bad boy, which is okay, but I mean, look at it, it's 60 litres plus 20 litres, so it's way bigger than I really need at the moment. And also, the last time that I took it out, this happened. The middle bit of the clip actually snapped, so the waist belt doesn't do up anymore. So I need a better one. I need a new one. So the one that I've been looking at is the Hidden Woodsman Day Ruck, which looks like an absolutely fantastic bit of kit. It's even got a loop to put an axe in on the outside of it. It's not big. It's not big at all, but you can customize it in various different ways. Like you can get pouches that attach to the outside. You can put your sleeping stuff on the bottom of it with some straps, and you can put stuff on the top of it with some straps and things like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for. Yeah. Other than that, though, very happy with everything that I've got, and I look forward to using it all in the very near future. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting in some way. As I said at the start of the video, if you are new to Bushcraft and you like this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with anybody else that you think might like it. Any and all help towards getting this channel off the ground would be really appreciated, so thank you very much. So that's all from me today. Next time we're out, I'm planning to use the Ray Mears book that I showed you. I'm going to use that to actually start practicing some new skills and stuff that I don't already know. So I've got a whole list of stuff that I've already written out that I'm going to try. Starting with a new way of setting up some tarps. I think that'll be next. It might change. We'll see. But as I say, lots more videos to come. Lots more practice, lots more mistakes, and lots more learning. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. It's so cool that I have a signed version of this book. Look at it, Ray Mears, the man himself, signed my book, amazing. Not that I actually met him, but that's not the point. The point is, sign my book. Jeez, what a mess I've made. Oh, I'm going to have to tidy all this up, aren't I? As much as I'd love to just leave it, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't tidy up. Bushcraft skills, outdoors, practicing in the natural environment.